Spicer& Company. I'm Sean Spicer.
And I'm Lindsay Keith. While many in our nation are suffering economically and others are dealing with a health crisis, are politicians treating all this like some kind of game?
It certainly seems that way, at least when we all need to be pulling together. Democrats are wasting time with a $3 trillion bill that has zero chance of getting through the Senate, and they know it. Meanwhile, we have a national press corps that are creating fake controversies instead of stories that provide critical information. They'd rather make the stories about themselves, talk about adults behaving badly. So let's start off with our elected officials, who don't seem to have any trouble wasting taxpayers' time or money. Speaker Pelosi brought back the House of Representatives to Washington today to vote on her $3 trillion, 1,800-page so-called stimulus bill. Members of Congress received the text on Wednesday without committee review. If that's not bad enough, guess what? The bill isn't going anywhere. Seriously, nowhere. And the Democrats admit it. They're calling it a messaging document. So millions of Americans find themselves out of work and in need of help. And the Democrats in the House just dragged everybody back to Washington, D.C., not to help you, not to keep businesses afloat, but for a political PR stunt. They're even arm-twisting their own members to vote for this messaging document. The first 4 coronavirus response bills were bipartisan. They passed by sweeping votes. But this one, not so much. The latest bill exceeds the amount of funding in the previous packages, and it looks like it'll only pass along partisan lines. And then what? It dies. So what is the message Pelosi is trying to send? Well, Congressman Denver Riggleman of Virginia is here to give us 10 reasons he has to vote against the Democrats' liberal wish list. Congressman, welcome.
Hey, how you doing today, Sean?
Great, thank you. Sir, your district in Virginia spans a pretty big swath of the state, meaning you got a lot of different areas. I want to start with how your state's doing before we get to this bill. How is Virginia handling the opening and the closing right now?
Well, it's not too good. I think we're in phase 1 right now. I don't know if you know this, not or Sean, and I hope I didn't hit the camera too hard. Somebody's trying to call, but we're in phase 1. I'm opening one of my businesses right now, and we can't even find people to work. I think we're not coming back to work because we're making more money right now, not coming back based on the state of emergency that we have right now in Virginia till June 10th. So, Sean, there's things like that are happening across the board. And the fact that I own a small business and the fact that I do these things gives me a ground level view of what's happening. And it's a little bit scary what's going on in the 5th District. And by the way, Sean, you said it's big. It's 10,000 square miles. So it's bigger than New Jersey. So I have everywhere from the Northern Virginia suburbs, to the biggest dairy farms in the entire district. So it's an incredible challenge for Virginia.
Right. Let me ask you this. You brought this up. Are people not coming back to work because they're worried about their own safety and health? Or are they not coming back to work because they're getting paid more money not to work right now?
Well, it's both. We've had a couple health and safety. We had a couple employees, Sean, and you know what I do. We have a lot of people that come through our establishments in Virginia and Pennsylvania that we're worried about health. We do employ some people over 60. The other individuals said simply, why would I come right now? I'm making more money. I don't want to give up those benefits. And that was one of the things that we would have to do in this bill from Pelosi is we'd have to compete with unemployment benefits to get workers to come to work. And that was one of my 10 reasons that I had that you mentioned at the beginning. And that was why I cannot vote for bills like this where it doesn't allow small businesses the flexibility to hire because they're competing with unemployment benefits. It's almost an impossible situation for small business.
So here's the thing that I find interesting, or actually despicable, is that the Democrats and Speaker Pelosi are admitting that this bill is going nowhere. Yet they dragged you, the staff, the Capitol Police, all the support staff back to Washington, D.C. to put everyone on the record on this messaging document, which I don't understand. We keep talking about how many people are out of work and how many people need help. And this stunt doesn't help anybody. And frankly, it's 1,800 pages. Do you know anybody right now that's read it?
No, we had to slice it up, Sean, between 9 segments. I have 9 staff members to actually read it with me wanting to have those sections and then have the notes compiled in 2 days. And 1,800 pages, I looked at it and said, you got to be kidding me. We haven't gone through any committee process. Why are we doing this? And I just find it stunning. I was looking at the illegal immigrants receiving stimulus payments. I have businesses calling me right now worried about safe harbor, in the safe harbor day-to-day for PPP loans. They're worried about if they're using it right, why they can't get employees, do they have to pay it back? We have all these other issues for small businesses, and we're worried about a messaging bill, and putting people in this type of position is ridiculous.
Right, I know. Well, thank you, Congressman. Continue to stay safe. Have a great weekend. I thank you for joining us.
Sean, stay safe, my friend.
Will do. Now we turn to a prominent congressional Republican in a chiefly blue state for his take on the Democratic stimulus bill and the process of reopening America. We welcome back Maryland Congressman and Dr. Andy Harris. Congressman, welcome back.
Good to be with you, Sean.
So your state, Maryland, is opening this weekend. It's a beautiful weekend on tap, I think, and the beaches are open. So let me get your medical advice. Is this the right angle to be telling people, hey, the state of Maryland's not open for business, small businesses have to stay closed, but you can go to the beach?
Well, Sean, we are going to be opening this weekend. We are parts of the state, the Baltimore-Washington corridor is going to remain mostly closed, stay at home, but other parts of the state that are more rural, like the Eastern Shore of Maryland, the beaches, as you suggested, they are going to reopen. Small businesses tomorrow morning will open their doors, and I think they're going to do it safely.
But do you think that the state, here's what I don't understand. It's okay to go to the beach, right? Walk down the boardwalk, put a blanket on, but a small business owner in parts of the state can open up and be trusted to do things appropriately to bring customers in a safe way.
Well, in a very strange way, what the governor did is say, look, the state can be open for business, but he's leaving it up to even lower levels elected officials to basically pick winners and losers. And in the Baltimore-Washington corridor, those county executives decided they're not going to allow businesses to reopen. But again, in more rural areas like the Eastern Shore of Maryland, Western Maryland, businesses will be open tomorrow. Again, social distancing, wearing masks, hand hygiene, all the things you need to do to keep people safe. They will be, but it'll differ from region to region in the state, and that's probably the way it should be.
Right. I think that the more we bring this down to a local level and let businesses do the appropriate thing, be responsible, makes more sense. You brought up masks. I want to ask you something that's kind of silly, but every night and every day I see stories from the mainstream media that Donald Trump's not wearing a mask. The president refuses to wear a mask. So you're a doctor. Let me ask you this. My understanding is that masks protect you from me so that when my germs come out of my mouth, if I'm wearing a mask, they block them from going on you. The president gets tested every single day, so we know that he doesn't have coronavirus. It seems to me the bigger question is why people should be wearing masks around him. We know that he doesn't have the virus. So is the media obsessing with this thing wrong, putting the wrong place on this?
Oh, no question, Sean. The question everyone should ask the media is, if masks are so important, why does the World Health Organization not recommend masks as part of their guidance? They have 3 feet social separation, and they say they don't mandate the use of masks. So, again, you're absolutely right. If I wear a mask, it's to protect you from me. And if the president is staying 6 feet away, if he's not shouting, he's not coughing, he's not sneezing, there's no reason to wear a mask. And the World Health Organization, in their guidance, actually agrees.
Have you had a chance to look at what the CDC is putting out with respect to how restaurants and other establishments should open? And do you think that that's appropriate, or does the federal government need to play more of a role in telling local businesses how to operate?
So the CDC did just release its latest guidance on restaurants last night. I've had a chance to look it over. I've visited with many restaurants in my areas, a lot of them family-owned small businesses. They're willing to put those guidelines in place. I think those guidelines make sense. Again, physical separation, social distancing, servers wearing masks. I mean, all these things I think can create an environment in many counties in the country that would be perfectly safe for these restaurants to begin to open. All right. Unfortunately, in Maryland, they're not allowed to.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate you coming back to join us. Continue to be safe and have a great weekend.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You bet. All right. We've got a lot more lined up on the show. When we come back, we're talking to our company about some Democrats who are actually pushing back on the stimulus bill. And later, our own White House correspondent, Emerald Robinson, she's here. She's going to be joining the Federalist Emily Jaskinski. They are here to break down how multiple major networks and celebrities are running deceptively edited videos of Trump officials. Stick around. You're not going to want to miss this.